All right, everybody. We should be live now, so let me know. I will make sure, but we should be good to go. We should be good to go. So let me know if everyone can see, if we're all good to go. You've been wondering how do you pronounce your last name? It's just Chlebowski, so the L is silent. The L is what throws everyone off. Coming in loud and clear? Sweet. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hopefully you're having a good start to your day. Whether, for me, it's noon, so I'm sure many of you are coming up on the end of the afternoon, late afternoon, or if you're across the pond, even later than that, like from Poland. And let me throw some beats on too. We'll get some smooth beats in the background. Oh, a little loud. Let me know what the audio sounds like. If the music's too loud, we can turn it off. We can keep it on. We're just gonna be hanging out. We're gonna be chilling. Slight lag from audio to video. Yeah, might just have to deal with it. It'll be all right. We'll get through it. You kind of pronounce it wrong. Oh yeah, we 1000% do. Yeah, I mean when we came to the States, I think it's like supposed to be like Chlebowski or something. But yeah, we say Chlebowski. It's 100% not probably the way how you're supposed to say it, but it's what it is for us. What type of wick are you using in your video? I recently got a Made In one, so it's a carbon steel one from Made In. I've been trying it out. I like it, but there's some things that I don't like about it. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it yet. Gonna make those oven buffalo chicken pieces. Ooh, nice. That's what we're doing with these. I'm just doing the wings this time though. So I took these out just so they could start air drying, but what we have to do is get the mixture with the cornstarch, salt, and those type of things. Just gotta get my bowl out. But is anyone making anything interesting for the game? Which I learned, apparently you're not allowed to use the terms like Super Bowl in because they have it trademarked or whatever, which is weird. So that's why I have the title as Sports Bowl Sunday, even though everyone knows what I'm talking about. I don't understand. But the NFL does what the NFL does, apparently. Let me let you get a wing. Chlebowski in Polish. The original language of the name is Chlebowski. Ooh, wow, that's wild. Wild. Crab Rangoon dip? Ooh, I haven't had that in a minute. All right, so I'm just weighing these out because that's going to give me the percentages for the salt, cornstarch, and other mixture. Salt, cornstarch, baking powder. So let me grab those out. And like I said, these are just popping in the fridge. So I've got 1,500 grams, which is a little bit under 3 pounds, or a little bit over 3 pounds rather. So I'm going to do 1% each, which is going to be 15 grams of each. Well, that works. 17 grams. Chilling. But yeah, so we're going to make these. So these are just, I feel like wings are just something always good to have, for people over. You can do different sauces on them, which is fun. So I'm gonna do 2 different sauces. We'll make those a little bit later. And then we also have to make chilo rio, which I've actually never made myself before, but it's fairly similar to carnitas. It's kind of like carnitas, but in a chili sauce, is how I would describe it. So they're very similar in method of preparation. The big difference is going to be the chili sauce. But I'm pretty excited. I've actually got so ideally I wanted like a boneless, just like a small boneless pork shoulder, but you guys, if you saw the thumbnail, I have this massive one, so I actually need to trim it up a little bit. After we get these in the fridge is the big thing. Let me just make sure I'm not missing stuff, but okay, should be good. Oh yeah, carnitas. Yeah, the carnitas are amazing. Yeah, so like if you like carnitas, you will like chilo rio, for sure. Got a bunch of this like stuck on the bottom now. Try to bring it back to the top. Okay. And then, like I said, these are just gonna go back in the fridge, air dry them. So if you guys have seen that video where I did the buffalo chicken pieces, it's that exact same process. And if you guys wanna learn about the technique behind it, pretty cool video. But the wings are good if like you're having multiple people over, and it's not like the main thing. But I really like doing the whole chicken. You know, if you're kind of making it for like yourself or your family, or like, you know, maybe like a max of 4 people. Just because you don't have to get like a bunch of wings, you can probably just get 1 roasted chicken between the breast and thighs and all that. You'll have plenty. And then I've already got a spot in my fridge for all these. So I can just slide it right in. Okay. Now I'm just gonna wash this bowl, get it out of the way. And then we can move on to other things. Wipe this down in my bucket here. All right, so the next thing we got to do, which is fun, is render some pork lard. So we shall do that. Oh, I missed the super chat. What is it? Papas al hornos, Sean Connor. Yo, what's going on, guys? Hopefully you are enjoying. How do you get your mustache looking so nice? I get this question all the time. I honestly, like, I don't have a set routine. Like, I just let it grow out because I feel like that's the thing you got to do with mustache, is you just got to keep letting it grow until something happens, and then maybe it'll be thick enough or whatever. But I literally don't do anything with mine. I just let it grow, and then I just trim it up. Okay, so I probably only want like, honestly, like a third of this, just because there's enough other food that I'll probably freeze the rest of this. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna take some of this skin right off and render it. So this is a bone-in pork shoulder. So the bones like here, I'm probably just gonna, I think the bone runs out around here. So I think I'm just gonna cut this kind of section off. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So then this, what I'm probably gonna do is just freeze that. I may keep it in the fridge for now, just in case I do get to it, but I probably won't. But this is the chunk, and I'm actually gonna pull off a little bit of this fat, just so I can, I think I'm gonna need probably a little bit extra to render off. Just get an extra little strip in addition to this stuff. I'm trying to just get only fat. I got a little bit of meat in there. It's fine though. Okay. All right. Morning from New Zealand. Yo, easily the largest pork shoulder. Yeah, I mean, this is a big one. So this is like a whole bone-in pork shoulder. I think it weighed like 10 pounds. But what I'm gonna do is actually, for this, all you wanna do is just make little chunks, and we're just gonna cook all the chunks. So I think carnitas, like, loosely means like little pieces of pork, and it's just like cooked in its own fat. You know, and you can see like all this beautiful fat in here, like that's all that good flavor that we're gonna get. And that's all gonna render out as well. But I was reading the book from Diana Kennedy, and she suggests if you have a little extra lard, you may need it later on in the process. So that's why I kind of got a little bit extra that I can render out. But what I'm gonna do here is probably just cut these into like, I don't know, maybe like 1-inch chunks like this. And then it's kind of interesting. So you cook these down, and then you actually pound them up and kind of shred them. And then that's what you mix with the chili sauce, which we'll do in a bit. But you literally just cook them with salt and some water. You basically let the water evaporate as it cooks it, and then it starts browning up after the water has evaporated. That should be about good. That's good. All right. And this will cook down a bit. I know this probably looks like a ton, but this will actually cook down a good bit. All that fat will render out of there. And I'm just thinking now, I may not have, my pan might be a little small for this. I'll just put it in a big stock pot, I guess. It's fine. Okay. Pandemonium. You're making pan sauce with chicken breast and roast potatoes. Ooh, that sounds fantastic. There's not much better than just a roasted chicken with potatoes. I do gotta say. All right, that sink always gets so hot so fast. Yeah, that sounds mighty tasty. Can never go wrong with that. I actually made those, what did I make the other night? I didn't roast potatoes, but I made potatoes with like peas and butter just stirred in with parsley. Kind of not quite a mashed potato, but I'd actually mash everything. I just kind of stirred everything together. Have you ever tried nihari? No, I have not. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, so I'm gonna put some of this stuff away. I'm gonna start rendering out this this little bit of excess pork fat. Just gonna pop it on the back burner. And then I need to put that away. We'll put all this in here. So this is what we'll cook it down in. Then we'll wash this. I'll put away the big guy. I might need to saran wrap that or something. Figure it out. Wash this. Actually, I'm just going to toss this entire thing into the freezer and deal with it later. Got a spot for it, so I'll just let it freeze and then bag it up. And then if you see here, so this is just going to slowly render out. And then we'll have a little bit of pork lard that we can use for later. And then let me look back on Diana Kennedy here for a second, just to make sure I'm getting the just need to add, I forget how much water she adds. Okay, just enough to cover the meat. All right, can do. Okay. Smoke pulled pork with extra pork shoulder. Yeah, I would have loved to do a pulled pork, like a smoked one, but that's the struggles of living in an apartment. I do not have any outdoor smoker or anything like that, which is unfortunate. Because I haven't done like any proper kind of like outside barbecue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eyeball this. I actually don't know how much pork this is. Normally it'd be like 1 to 1.5% is my general rule of thumb. For something big when I need this, but I'm just going to eyeball it. And then we'll just put in enough water to just barely cover it. And then we let this water evaporate. So literally just water and salt. We let it evaporate, and then we take it out once it's cooked, mash it up, cook it down again in the chili sauce and the extra lard. So I mean, it's a pretty easy recipe. It just takes some time. Like that's literally it. So what we're gonna do now is I could prepare that chili sauce. I guess we'll do that. Second best food holiday, which does it beat out? For me, it beats out Christmas. So I think Thanksgiving is number one. Super Bowl is number two, because Super Bowl is like all the fatty like snack foods, like kind of guilty pleasure foods. So that's why I think it's like the second best. Not that Christmas isn't good, but I think Super Bowl is, or Sports Bowl, NFL don't sue me, is number two. So traditionally, I think her recipe uses anchos. I'm gonna swap this with guajillos because I don't have any dried anchos right now. And I'm also gonna add like 2 arboles, just because I want a little spice in there, not much. So I'm gonna grab like 4 of these, 2 arboles, and we'll call that good. And that should be enough to make our. Let me get 1 more guajillo. 2 small ones. So we'll remove the seeds on these guys and then get them in some hot water. Will you be doing a video on how you care for your cast iron griddle? Yeah, I do want to do that at some point. Yeah, I have countless ideas. The hard thing is it just takes time for me to do them, because I want to do them properly and make them very concise but very information, and see if there's anything that I can kind of give in my videos that hasn't been. It either hasn't been touched on at all, or it hasn't been touched on very clearly. So that's one of the things I'm working on this big steak video right now, where I'm covering all the kind of basics of steak. But the thing is, it's going to be a long video because I'm trying to do it very in-depth and showing lots of examples between different techniques and stuff. Like that's the thing I think is the big issue with I mean, it's all good information, but it's not very concise, and it's not holistic as I am trying to make this video. But videos like that take time, and then so I've got a bunch of things. So yes, I will be doing a cast iron one at some point. I just like to go in deep rather than kind of make a quick one just to make a video. It's kind of my philosophy. And also, I'm going to toast these too. I forgot about that. Her recipe doesn't specify to do it, but it's a pretty common thing done in most dishes, I would say, to toast them, just to kind of help release some of those the volatile oils in there. So I'm going to toast them lightly. And if you guys have never cooked with dried peppers like this, it's so easy. Like you can just keep these in your pantry or whatever, bust them out whenever. They're already dried, so like they have a really long shelf life. I don't know exactly how long, but I mean I've definitely kept them for a while before. And they're pretty cheap too. I think you can find a bag of guajillos for a couple bucks, maybe like $3 or $4. Same with our bowls, and that'll last you a fairly long time. I mean, unless you're making you know, chili purees and chili sauces all the time, but. So we got all these chilies. I'm going to toss this onto a pan. Actually gonna step over here and grab this pan. Got so many wires back there, it's annoying to step back there. All right, so just dry pan, and I'm just gonna throw them on here for like not very long, just to kind of start to darken the outsides. That's really all I'm looking for. All right. Greetings from Poland. Hello, hello. Yeah, it's in 3 hours exactly, yes. So the streams, for those of you watching, stream's probably gonna go for maybe, probably another hour and a half, I would guess. And then we're just having like a couple people over, nothing big. Like I think there's gonna be like 4 of us or something, 6. So we're just kind of hanging out. Also, did I miss any super chats, by the way? I know I probably did. Let me catch up on these. Let me scroll back through and make sure I did not miss any. Been very distracted. Okay, I got that one from Pandemonium. Thank you again. I got. Oh no, I missed this one from Bledixon Gameplay. Your blessing for your detailed explanations. I appreciate that very much. I do very appreciate that. So things like that. I know I missed that. And then I think G was the other one. So we got that. All right, let me go through these again. And if I did miss someone else, I really do apologize. Sharky, when making a buffalo sauce, does it make more difference which brand of hot sauce you use? Not really, no. Like you can use whatever you want to. So probably, I know I probably got a comment on my buffalo chicken recipe that said that like mine wasn't buffalo sauce because I didn't use like Frank's Red Hot. You know, I use like a Louisiana hot, but it's in the same vein. It's kind of in that Louisiana style. So, you know, Crystal, like any Louisiana style, Tabasco, Frank's Red Hot, they're all in the same general hot sauce kind of family. They're kind of a vinegar-based hot sauce. So if you pick any of those, you should be good to go. But I mean, like you could really do any kind of hot sauce you wanted, like at the end of the day. It just depends on what your kind of preference is from flavor. Some are more acidic, some are spicier. So really just play with it is what I would say. But no, it doesn't really matter that much. Just pick one you like, mix it with butter, you're gonna have something delicious. George, do these streams get uploaded? Yeah, I will upload them to my channel, so you guys, you can refer to them if you want to. How do I milk a buffalo to get the buffalo sauce? That is one of life's great mysteries. Probably the same way you get buffalo milk mozzarella, though. Think about it, think about it. All right. If I missed anyone else, I'm sorry, but I don't think I did. But if not, let me know, chat. I'm sorry. It's hard to like keep up with all the chats and like do the cooking because like I can't look at this much. This got a little bit too hot. It's kind of smoking, but I'll just toss them in lightly here. And so this is another. This is a carbon steel pan. This is another video topic I have. I don't know how I want to do it yet. Kind of explaining different pans and things of that nature. So this is carbon steel is good. I don't know if I'm sold on it yet as like, I think a lot of people kind of tout it as like the best pan. It's definitely a good all-around pan, but I still feel like in certain instances I like my cast iron more. But they're definitely good pans. I do like them. And then for these guys too, since they don't lay super flat, like I'm just gonna press on them a little bit. And again, when you're toasting these, you just don't want to burn them. That's kind of the big thing. But it's actually, if you do these whole with the seeds in, they'll actually kind of inflate when you heat them, which is kind of cool if you want to do them that way. But these are already getting really, like I can already smell them just from this light toasting. It releases all those those aroma compounds. And like it's the exact same idea with spices. I don't always do it with spices. Like if I remember to, I'll do it. But I'm not like overly picky about it, I guess you would say. But you absolutely can toast your spices like this too. And it will release flavor compounds. Okay, so those are toasted enough. Let this chill out here. Now I need some hot water, which I'm just gonna grab my kettle, which I've been using more and more lately. Very useful kitchen tool. And if you like tea and coffee, I would say it's a must-have if you like tea and coffee. I'm not a big tea and coffee drinker, but I have been getting into it a little bit in quarantine, I guess, in pandemic. I kind of look forward to having. I normally have like one coffee or one tea a day, and it's usually either like mid-morning or early afternoon, like if I'm sitting down to do some work. Oh, I missed some. Okay. Who we got? Mehmet Balaman. Thanks for the chicken karahi recipe. Made it 2 nights in a row and crave it again right now. Ooh, glad to hear it. I'm glad you tried it. That recipe, like I said, I think someone suggested it in a live stream actually. I forget where someone suggested it, but someone suggested it to me. And I'm super glad they did. So, I saw some of you guys comment about nihari. So I have that written down to check out. I just haven't done it yet. So we'll probably get to that at some point as well. So no worries. So yeah, like if you guys ever have things, like suggest them. I'm always down to check out recipes, especially like I love testing out recipes that maybe I've not made before or like I haven't really heard about before. Because I feel like every cuisine or culture, they all have these kind of recipes that are quick, that are easy to make, but no one knows about them. And I feel like those are the recipes that I look forward to learning myself and then sharing, because I know like if it's easy to do, like obviously more people are going to do it. And then what was the other? Spike. Random question. Any tips for someone losing a gas range, moving to a new apartment with an electric stovetop, especially if you're cooking with cast iron? Yeah, so I used an electric back when I was in college. Electric, like if you're talking the coil ones, honestly, they're just not great. Like there's really, it's not to say that you can't make great, like you can still make great food, but they're just not as efficient. They don't heat up as fast, things like that. So I think the big thing, like if I was going back to like a coil electric stove, is I would be really interested to see like the temperatures of my pans, and seeing if there's like hot and cold spots on my pans. Like I don't know how those coils heat or if they heat as evenly. So like if you have your cast iron, like I would maybe check it. Like, these aren't really that expensive. I think they're like 30 or 40 bucks maybe. I'm not sure about this specific one. But I think when you're using a heat source that may not be as like energy efficient or doesn't pump out as much energy, I think you just have to be a little bit more cautious about the temperatures of the things you're using, like for frying and things like that. But I wish I had like an electric stove that I could test some of that stuff, because I think it'd be really interesting. I think it'd be helpful for a lot of people, but unfortunately I don't. So this is just plain hot water. I'm just gonna let that sit over there for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then these will all rehydrate, and then we'll blend that with vinegar and some cumin seeds, and that's the sauce. So I'm gonna toss this back under, make sure there's not excess water in there. I'll let that steam for a second, I guess, over there. But I feel you. I mean, gas stoves, I like them a lot more. I've heard good things about the induction. I haven't used one yet. That's another thing I want to test as well. All right, All right, I think we caught up on those. I'll try to answer other questions as I can. You're in love with the bagel recipe. I like that recipe too. That's a tasty one. I haven't made, actually I made bagels probably, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so. Oh yeah, and for an update on this pork, I'll show you guys. So this is kind of just, it's kind of just lightly bubbling. So I'm just gonna wait for most of this to evaporate off. And because all that fat in there, it's gonna be, I mean, it's gonna be super tender and juicy. It's gonna be great. Really looking forward to this. All right, what do we need to do next? Okay. So we could do Brussels sprout salad. Let's do that. Have you considered making a Discord? I have not really. But something we could look into. If there's enough people interested, maybe we could set that up. All right, let me get my list up. Also, for the steak video, like I'm almost kind of done with all the things I want to test, and this video is probably not coming out for like 2 weeks, by the way. But I think I need to cook probably like 15, maybe 20 steaks, because I want to show all these differences between things. For example, I want to show, one of the tests I want to do that I've not seen done before is showing moisture retention from a day in advance salting, an hour advance salting, salting right before, and then salting after. So doing that, but cooking them all to 130 degrees, so like medium rare. But then I haven't seen anyone test that specifically at higher temperatures. So like at 155 or 160, which would be well done. So right there, that's like 8 steaks that I need to cook so I can see the differences between them. But I think it's gonna be a really cool video once it all comes together. It's gonna be a lot of work on that side, but we'll get there. Alrighty. All right, Brussels sprouts. Okay. Oh, I need to cook that bacon down. Okay. All right. Okay. Just gonna toss this guy to the side for a second and gather out my salad components. Ooh. Lost one, 5-second rule. Broccoli. Oh, I forgot to cook the bacon. Cheddar. I have a red onion in there? No, it should be over here. And the bacon. So I got this kind of baby broccoli because I figured I could just throw the stems in too. And also, for those of you wondering why I'm making salad for a sports bowl like this, is I think you have to have a salad, for a day, like a menu like this where you're serving, like we're serving pork, we're doing the chicken wings. And then I'm also gonna make like a queso. It's kind of like an instant queso. So I'll probably do that like right before the game. I probably won't do that on stream. I'll tell you guys how to do it. It's really easy. But I feel like a salad is a huge component that you need to have just to kind of be a little bit of not a palate cleanser, but so you don't suffer from like palate fatigue of just like fatty stuff over and over, you know? Alrighty. And I'm gonna pop up the heat on that pork a tiny bit, but we'll just chop all this stuff, make quick work of it, and then throw this all in a bowl, which this is the bowl I want to use. And right there. Like, goes to show the importance of like cleaning as you go. Like, you know, I didn't wait to clean this earlier. Like, I cleaned it right away, and now when I need it again, it's ready for me to use. Like, things like that, like, you don't really think about, but then you know, when it comes time, it actually, you know, it pays off in the end. Especially if you have multiple dishes that you're working on like this, it's super important just to stay up on top of your dishes and kind of making sure you're at least, you don't have to clean everything, but I clean most of the stuff, or clean like annoying items that might be annoying to clean later. Like for that one, you know, the flour or the salt and like cornstarch probably would have like started to stick on there. Probably would have been like a little annoying to clean, whatever. Plus, like, since it was, you know, chicken in there, just if you have that and that piles on other dishes, like then, you know, you could transfer that over versus just washing it right away. You get everything out of there, hot soapy water, good to go. Okay. So we're just gonna slice these super thin, and this is exactly, you know, the same idea behind the poster right there, the Brussels sprout salad equation. I'll bring it up, or I'll take it off the board. But this is the basic idea. Brussels sprouts is the base, and then for side vegetables, I have broccoli. For crunchy components, we're gonna do, I have some nuts over here that we're just gonna toast up in, and we're also gonna do bacon bits, so that's kind of in here. Then creamy, I'm not doing a super creamy, I'm kind of going with a just some cheddar. So cheddar will be good. And then as far as the kind of flavor, I'm gonna throw in some onions. I don't have any pickled onions. I don't really want to put pickled onions in the salad. I want to put red onion, raw red onion, just so it bites through a little bit more. And then for the vinaigrette, I'm gonna be doing a kind of a ranch, kind of a ranch vinaigrette, I would say. It's not ranch, it's kind of like a mix of ranch with vinegar. So it's a little bit similar flavor profile, but a little bit more acidic. I was about to put this in the fridge. You know what, I'm gonna put that up later, just so I don't mess it up. But that is the basic idea behind it. Let me catch up on this super chat. Rooks93. No message, but I appreciate that. If you have a message, let me know. But much appreciated. Can you make a sourdough bread starter video? That's another kind of one of those core. Geez, I got something in the back of my throat. All right, that should be good. The sourdough video is another video I want to do. Again, it's one of those ones that I probably want to do real in depth and think about what maybe other videos haven't shown, or maybe haven't shown in a more concise way, or something like that. Because that's kind of like what I try to think about with my videos is, like, especially for things where there's a ton on the topic already, it's like, I don't just want to add more noise. I want to try to create value through the way that I present it, and hopefully people make a, you know, they can take away or have a clear idea of what they're doing. And for these, I'm just cruising through them thin. Obviously, this is easy with a pretty sharp and thin knife. And I'm just kind of rolling them over, like as I feel that they're getting a little bit uneven. Like I'm just rolling this over. Because like for a salad like this, I really don't care like which way, the slices are going. So like roll that over again. And then this I'll just continue all the way out. Then like this. And then this is one of my favorite vegetable prep just because it doubles as a bench scraper. So roll over, chopping. I can smell that pork. It's starting to smell good. The water's probably getting fairly close to evaporating, I would assume. Probably not quite there, but I'll chop all these first. All right. 3 more to go. Actually, last night I made, it kind of came together really randomly. I almost made I made like a Brussels sprout and an orzo salad in one with some steak. Turned out pretty good. But basically, like I sliced the Brussels sprouts, but then I cooked them down with some onions and a little bit of bacon. Then I added it with some cooked orzo, threw in some blue cheese, and then some steak that I sliced super thin. Just threw it all together. A little salt, a little pepper. Spritz in a little lemon juice. It's pretty solid. All right. Let me check on this guy. Oh, that's hot on my hand. So, water is still working away. The fat on the top of this, though, like you can see it has started to render out of the actual pieces. And again, we're just going to keep cooking this down for, I don't know, another 15 minutes maybe. And then things start to get a little bit more interesting. So I'm probably going to use, I don't need all this to be honest. Maybe just like half of this because I'm going to use the stock. So that's going to also provide a plenty bit of greens in there. All right, let me, all right, let me catch up on a couple messages if I can. Bartha Daniel, thank you. Much appreciated for the super chat. Twice. No message though. If you have a message, let me know. All right. Love your videos. Thank you. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. You should do a complete cooking tour. What herbs to use, improvising, cooking, anything you want under your ingredients. Yeah, it's tough to do a holistic, like complete cooking tutorial because there's so much nuance within like everything. Not that like but the nuance it matters, but it doesn't matter that much. Which is like kind of the weird part. So I've thought about doing like like a cooking like school from like beginning about just like talking about salting, how that is super important, but it's hard to know like where to cut it off without, like that's the kind of the issue I got into with this steak video is like right now I probably have like a 20 to 25 minute video, and it literally just covers the basics of steak, from like when to salt or how to choose the cut, when to salt it, how to cook it, and then what to do after cooking. And that's like 20 minutes. And that doesn't even, this is only in the scope of like pan seared steaks at home, like not even considering things like different ways to sear it. So like different oils, like regular oil, butter basting, mayo, things like that, or different methods of preparation like reverse searing, sous vide, all these things. Because what I'm going to do basically is make those all separate videos. Like I want this one video to be kind of the core of everything. And I hope to do more of these over the coming year. Like really foundational. Like the idea is someone can watch this single video, and no matter what method they choose, they should be set up for success. Because they understand the base components of cooking a steak, which are, you know, temperature and salt. Like that's really all steak comes down to. The salt is used to season it. The salt can also affect texture depending on when it's applied, and it affects seasoning on the way it's seasoning. You know, if it's seasoned internally, if it has enough time, or if it's seasoned after. Or on the other hand, no, I'm gonna leave that. Yeah. Or on the other hand, the temperature is about controlling texture in the actual, like, the middle of the steak, but the exterior as well if you want it crispy. And it also controls the flavor through the exterior as well if you want it nice and browned. So it's really hard to cover everything without going, like I want to go deep, but I don't want to go so deep that I'm making like a 50-minute video for, you know, for YouTube. It's like that's kind of the art part of it is where do you cut off, and then kind of offshoot from there. But yeah, I'd love to do like, I mean, a holistic, I mean, because that like a, you know, like an A to Z, like if you're just starting out cooking, you know, what should you know, go from there. But we'll get there. All right, did I miss anything? Here we go. Bartha, thanks again for the super chat. Have you read the Science of Cooking book? Depends which one you're talking about. If you're talking about on food and cooking, the Science of, like by Harold McGee, I've read, I've not read it cover to cover, obviously, but I've read through a decent chunk of it just in my research and stuff like that. There's also the Food Lab has a lot of good stuff about the science of cooking, and then there's also this other book called like My Chemist's or like Einstein's cookbook or something, but it's all about the science and reactions in between stuff, and I've read that. There's a good bit out there. It's just like with those, is my idea is like I want to bring everything into like much more cohesive, much easier to understand, so like someone doesn't have to like read through a big book or something. Okay, so chop up a red onion next. Down below. And then same with the Brussels sprouts. As soon as I start to feel like this is a little kind of unsteady, like instead of trying to keep cutting it and like maybe slipping, I just flip it over. And there we go. So I'm probably gonna cut these in half. I don't want massive chunks in there. Loosely in half. Austin, thanks for the super chat. Do you have any ramen or traditional Chinese food video ideas, like Hainanese chicken rice, and do you have any fish recipes coming soon? Yeah, those are, again, I want to explore some Chinese and some other Asian cuisine as well. I've done a lot. I do a lot from Mexican and Indian probably just because I really like those cuisines the most. But I mean, I like everything. So at some point, yes. When, I don't know. I've got a big backlog of videos that I need to get to. And do I have any fish recipes coming soon? Not specifically in the works. I mean, like I said, I have some ideas I got to get to, but nothing soon. But maybe I should do one soon. I could probably work it in over the next month or two. I'll try to do a fishing video. Okay. All right, update on the lard. So as you can see, this is all like browned and crispy. I'll come up close so you guys can see. I hope you guys can see that. Like nice and crispy. This fat has rendered off down here. So this is essentially what like cracklins are, or I guess cracklins are technically fried rather than rendered. But you could eat these little crispy pieces. And actually what I'll probably do is, you know what? Instead of bacon, I'm just gonna chop these up and throw them right in the salad. You know, that'll be fun. Then I don't even need to cook the bacon. So I'm gonna pour this fat off, and we'll use this later. And then right now that this is liquid, but as it softens, it'll become a solid actually. And if you could strain this off, like if you were kind of keeping this and not using it right away, what I would do is strain this off like multiple times, just so if there's any like little impurities, or I can see little tiny bits of stuff in there, just making sure that's out of there. Or if you have like a, you know, just so when you actually go to cook it, that doesn't like cook again and then burn, is kind of what you'd want to avoid there. That's it right there. Little crispy pieces of pork fat. Oh, you're making the Italian beef sandwiches? Oh man, I need to make those again. I will say there is not much better than tucking into an Italian beef sandwich. Like the flavors, very on point. The textures are spot on. It's like a little bit soggy, and it's exactly what you want out of like a beefy, soggy sandwich in all the right ways, as I like to say. So I'm gonna chop these guys up into little cubes. And then I also need to toast those nuts. I forgot to do that. I'm gonna toast those up a tiny bit. So again, these are just walnuts. I'm gonna throw them in, just to give us that variety in texture and a little nuttiness. All right, did I miss anything? I got Austin, thank you again. Cooking from the Lost. Love the informative nature of your channel. Thanks for all the great ideas and inspiration. Hey, my pleasure. That's exactly what I just want to try to inform and then inspire more people to cook. Like that's all. That's like really what the main goal of my channel is. So like I love when people you know, send me pictures or Instagram stories and stuff like of you guys making it. Those are like the best kind of things. Like I love hearing people actually making this stuff, because that's kind of the whole goal of the channel. Okay, so we got that in there, and then we'll just add these nuts, crack them up a little bit. SSE, could you do a video breaking down nutrition labels for meat, specifically serving sizes? You're mostly confused if the serving sizes 4 ounces include things like bones and drumsticks or not. Yeah, I always assume that bones don't count, but I agree with you that nutrition for meats can be a little bit confusing, because sometimes they'll like put them in as like raw versus like cooked, and like I know cooking does affect like the nutrition, because like things can be cooked out, and it also affects the weight as well. Because like one thing I've always wondered is like if I have a 75-25 beef patty and I'm making a burger, like if I cook that burger too long and the fat renders out, like it's no longer a 75-25 beef burger. Like, you know, a ton of that has rendered out and is now just on my pan. So it's like, how much of that is, you know, how much less fat am I actually consuming than I think I am? So things like that, maybe we'll do that at some point. I mean, it's not a bad idea. You want to see Ethan and Joshua collab soon? I mean, I'm definitely down. I think we could do a cool video for sure. Have you heard of any Haitian dishes? None that come directly to mind. If you have any ideas, you know, send them to me. I try to write stuff down and get to it when I can. I'm just gonna loosely chop these guys a little bit. You could pound these pretty fine, but I kind of like bigger chunks in salads, or like slightly bigger at least. I don't like big, massive like pieces of lettuce and like tomato and stuff. I kind of like everything like about this size for me is a good spot to be. So I think we just need to make the other the dressing for it. Thorny Briar, thank you for the super chat. Matt, you can check the link in the description. That kind of has the items that I am making, and I think we're really close to this, really close. And then we'll get to bash it all up, which is fun. Probably another 10 minutes, to be honest. So let's do our salad dressing. So, like I said, basically a ranch, we're going to turn it into a vinaigrette a little bit. Oh, I was going to add frozen peas to this. Well, frozen, I mean thawed. So I'm going to let these thaw and then we'll toss them in. Well, I mean, this is going to sit for a while anyway, so they'll thaw by the time I'm done with them. Also, frozen peas, something you should always have in your fridge, in my opinion. If you like peas, obviously. If you don't like peas, maybe not. There's so many ways that I use these, though, that like I'll throw them in so many different dishes. Stir fries, salads like this, mix them with potatoes, fry them up with like things. There's so many ways you can use frozen peas. I may do a video on that. Maybe a quick video on that, giving people ideas on what to do with peas. Okay, so back in there, get my oil, which I need to adjust. Sour cream, mayo. All right, haven't missed any super chats? Okay. All right. Oh, no, wait, we just got one. Do you like soccer? Greetings from Chile. Yo, how's it going? Matthias? Yeah, I do. I like soccer. I don't really watch it outside the World Cup, though, if I'm being honest. I did play soccer from, I think, like, literally like kindergarten through, like, up till 8th grade. So, like, when I was 14, I guess. But yeah, soccer is a lot of fun. I enjoy soccer for sure. But I don't like stay up to date outside of like World Cup. I love watching the World Cup though. So we're gonna do loosely like 1 part mayo, 1 part sour cream, and loosely 1 part oil. For a ranch-ish. So the oil is not typically added to ranch. It'd just typically be mayo, sour cream, and buttermilk if you're using buttermilk, or cream, or you can use regular milk. Is kind of the main 3 that are typically used. All right, Dijon and a little vinagre. Where's my mustard? Uh-oh. Do I have a mustard? I don't believe it. There's not a chance. Not a chance. No, I'm almost positive I had mustard, but maybe not. So am I overlooking it? Let's see. Did I put it in a weird spot? Not back there. Not over here. Did I like maybe not put it back in the fridge? Oh, I don't have mustard. Not a big deal though. It's fine. So we'll put some dill in instead. Marcus, thanks for inspiring me to cook more. Love your videos, much appreciated. Thank you for the kind words, my friend. So we're gonna throw some pepper in here. We're gonna throw some dill in here. And then just mix this all up. There's my dill. I like a good bit of dill in mine. I don't know if you guys can hear the this pork back here, but it's starting to sizzle, starting to crack, which signifies to me that most of this water is gone. But I'm gonna finish this first. And then with a little bit of salt and garlic powder, and I got one more. What's the brand of knife? This one is it's a Chinese chef cleaver. Specifically, this version is from Chef Knives to Go. It's, I think if you look up Chinese chef, like chef knife CCK, or Chinese cleaver CCK something, like it should pop up, but it's from Chef Knives to Go. That's where I got it from, the website. I don't know if they sell it other places. They very well may, but they import it from China, I believe. This one. So I'm going to throw a little bit more sour cream in that, just because I want it to be a little bit thicker. I don't want it to be super thick, but just a little bit thicker. And then let me get a lid for that. Let's turn that off the heat. Battery, let me plug in here. All right, and I am just gonna pour this over here. Like I'm just gonna dress it ahead of time. Like I don't mind, it's a pretty robust salad, so that dressing will sit in there. You know, if this was something like greens, you wouldn't really want to do this because it probably wilts and stuff by the time you get to it. I've kind of overloaded this bowl. It's gonna be a little hard to toss doing the normal method. And then also I like to give in this just like a sprinkle of salt over top just to work in. I forgot to put some in the vinaigrette as well. But it may not seem like much, but I love salads like this. Especially when they get just a little bit of time to soak in everything. Just lost a handful. Another handful. All right, let me get a little. I get down with this. And just like that, good to go. Like I said, this is like those salads that get better, which is perfect for making ahead of time. And now I can clean this up, and now we're going to bash the pork, which is always fun. All right, I missed one. Ollie. Shout out George. Yo, George, hope you're doing well if you're watching. What's your go-to method to clean out your cast iron after use? Yeah, so for cast iron, the big thing is kind of evaluating right after you're done cooking. Like, if you have stuff stuck on it, I like to, like, if you know there's gonna be stuff stuck on, I like to get it scraped off as much as possible before I, put water on it or anything. Like, try to get off as much as I can, like while it's still warm or hot, is the big thing. You definitely don't want to let it cool if there's stuff stuck on it in there. You either want to get it under water right away, or I like to try to scrape off as much as I can. If I scrape off pretty much everything and it's just like, it looks fine, I literally just take a paper towel, maybe rub a touch of oil on it if it looks a little dry. Or sometimes, like if I cook something fatty, I just rub that right into the pan. If there's stuff stuck on it, like a kind of a layer that I'm not able to get to, then I'll put it under the water, and I'll try to let it soak for a good at least 30 minutes. And then usually by then, I can take just a rough brush or a rough sponge, like the backside, or if it's worse than that, there's these metal scrubbers that they don't like dig into the seasoning, they kind of stay on top. But that's kind of my general thought process when it comes to cleaning cast iron. All right, well, let's bash some pork. I'm gonna toss this in here. Let me clean like 2 things, because I will need this pan in a little bit. Put this away. I'll need that. I won't need this. All right. Okay, time to bash the pork. I missed 2 more. Frank T, love your videos. Congrats on the success. You helped me a lot in the kitchen. Much appreciated, Frank. I do appreciate that. Glad the videos have been helping. Jay, do you have any favorite hot sauces? What would your own homemade sauce flavor profile be? Video, perhaps. Favorite hot sauces. I'll tell you what kind of I keep on hand. It's a decent question that I can answer. So these are kind of the 3 categories I would say I keep on hand. So sriracha I'll use a lot, like in Asian inspired dishes, I guess you'll say, like different like noodle dishes, stir fries, stir fried vegetables, like stir fried rice. I'll usually throw a little this in or drizzle it over top, or like sandwiches too. So if it's kind of like Asian-ish or Asian-inspired, I'll kind of throw, if I want some hot sauce, I'll throw this on. For more like, I guess Mexican style, this is like a little bit hotter. This is habaneros. This is El Yucateo. You can find this, I think, at most grocery stores. But a little bit hotter. Love this for like throwing a little dollop or two on a taco or something, just to get more spice through. So this is less vinegar based than like Louisiana style hot sauce. So like this is kind of your, like what I was talking about earlier, the Frank's Red Hot, the Cristal, what are the other brands that do Louisiana style? Tabasco's Louisiana style. But I like this brand, and it's just the one that, I don't know, I've come to start to like this one. But I'll mix it up sometimes. So these are kind of the 3 brands that I keep on, and they're all kind of different. They fill different roles. But like I said, sometimes I'll get different ones within these roles. So I'll get like, if I just see something interesting, like kind of a spicier one, I'll just get it. But I'm not, like these are kind of the ones that I typically have. As far as a homemade one, I did a hot sauce series like way before this channel grew, all about different poblano hot sauces. It was poblano and habanero. I like green hot sauces a lot, but I don't buy green hot sauces a lot, which is weird. But that's kind of what I like. So it'd probably be something similar to that video that I made back in the day, or that series I made back in the day. But I want to do some more hot sauce stuff. Yucateo black and green are your favorites. I like the green one a lot too. Sometimes I will get that. I typically just get the red, but I will get the green one plenty of times as well. All right. So traditionally, Diana Kennedy's book, where I get most of my, like if I want to like get traditional Mexican recipes, this is where I go. Diana Kennedy, I've mentioned on the channel several times. She says to bash this in a molcajete. So a molcajete is a mortar and pestle, but it's specifically one used in Mexico. It's made out of volcanic rock, I believe. So it's a little bit different than these granite ones. It's more, it's kind of porous on the outside. It's not as hard, I believe, but in her recipe, she says to bash this in a molcajete and kind of into strands. So I'm just going to do this bit by bit in the mortar and pestle. Obviously, you could just shred this stuff. It's definitely easily shreddable, but you're definitely going to get a different texture by bashing it. And I'll just put my bashed stuff in here. Just a little piece of cartilage in there. I'm just going to toss out. It's like mashed pork. But as you can see, it's this really interesting texture. It's like kind of stringy, but kind of like beaten down as well. And like this is already like super tender. Like literally that's just water, salt, and pork. And basically the pork just got the fat rendered out while it was evaporating in the water, but while it was cooking in that water, it was getting super tender. And like, I mean, that alone is incredible. And so to make carnitas from this stage, quite literally, you would just fry this in its own fat again, and you get these bits all a little crispy. Man, like this is like bringing me back to when I was in Mexico City last year. Like, there's not much better than just carnitas with some onion, cilantro, and lime juice, like on a taco. Like, that's it. Like, it does not get much better. Yeah, I know it sounds so simple and like basic, but that's really how a lot of traditional Mexican food is. Obviously, there are super complex things like mole, which a lot of traditional moles, if you don't know, have like they'll have over 20 ingredients in them, like 20 different kind of spices or things like that. It's wild how many ingredients moles can have in them. I don't know. Maybe I'll make this a separate video too at some point. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Like I said, this is the first time I've actually made chilo rio for myself. I thought it'd be a good dish just to make. I mean, I've made carnitas before, so I mean, if you know how to make carnitas, chilo rio is just really cooking it down in the sauce, which we'll make in a second here. And another cool thing about this that Diana Kennedy mentions in her recipe is that you can make this and then store this in your fridge for, she says, for several months. So I think the reason why is because the acidity and the peppers create an environment where it's gonna stave off like a lot of potential, bacteria or mold that could potentially take hold. It's not going to, if it's sitting in, a mixture of vinegar and chilies, basically like a hot sauce. Now, I don't know if that's legit, but I mean, she says it can be, so I'm sure people have done it. But as with anything, generally I don't know like actual it has to be eaten with these days. Generally I just do eye and smell tests. Like if it smells fine, if it looks fine, I'll just eat it, right? Like I feel like, as humans, we know we're in tune enough to realize when stuff is not bad by using our senses, or if it is bad by using our senses. But for me, it's like, it's never like a, I think that's good. It's like, oh, I'm like, that's 100% good. And if there's any inkling of me that thinks it might not be good, I toss it out. I don't worry about it. Don't risk it. But generally, I just use my senses when it comes to that stuff. This piece is just a little bit too much. Overfilled it. Little batch. Let me catch up. Did I miss any? Miss any super chats? Miss any big questions? John, thank you for the super chat. No question though. Oh yeah, I did miss a couple. Dang it. I got Jay's about the hot sauces. That's right. David, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Restless Panda, love your recipes and that you share the calories. Yeah, my pleasure, Restless Panda. Yeah, I started doing that on pretty much every recipe now. Just like if people want, I feel like the information, if people want it, I'm just gonna add it, you know? Like just one more piece of information that may help someone choose if they want to make the dish or not, and if it's right for them. Whether other people care or not, that's fine. The only one that it's hard to do on, like I didn't do it on the fried chicken one, just because like it's so hard to calculate without making a mess of the kitchen, like weighing your oil beforehand, weighing it after. So I assume anyone making fried chicken, like they're just accepting that they're going to eat a lot of calories. Like that's kind of what I do. I just kind of limit the number of pieces, you know, I'm going to eat fried chicken. Like I don't worry about the actual number though. Did I miss any others? We got John. Thank you again too for the super chat. All right. Favorite breakfast. Well, if you saw my chilaquiles video, you know that is. I actually don't eat breakfast in my like day-to-day normal life. I'll have like occasionally I'll have breakfast for lunch or for dinner. Things like chilaquiles. Generally, I like more savory breakfast things. So, you know, big fan of sausage, biscuits and gravy, or just like an egg sandwich. Like I love just like an egg sandwich on a bagel with, you know, a piece of bacon or cheese or something like that. And then actually one of my snacks that I eat a lot that most people eat for breakfast is actually just cereal. Like it's one of my kind of snacks that I'll eat, you know, grab like a little bowl of cereal if I'm like a little hungry. But I actually don't eat breakfast on like a day-to-day basis. I typically just eat 2 main meals a day, two bigger meals rather than breakfast. But yeah, most of my breakfast stuff I like more savory things for sure. Also love Spanish omelet, one of my favorites. With the potatoes and stuff. I haven't made that in a long time. I should really make that again. That's such a good dish. But in general, I'm a savory breakfast guy through and through. All right. No, it's just us over here. This stuff is seriously unreal how good just that is. Have you been to Hungary or eaten Hungarian food? I haven't. That's a culture I don't have much experience in it at all. I don't. There's so many countries that I want to go to that. I mean, I feel like that's how it is. Like, you know, you always hear about like, you know, Mexican, like Indian cuisine, you know, Japanese, Chinese, Thai cuisine. I feel like there's so many countries out there that, at least like for us in the US, like we don't really hear about, we don't know what, you know, traditional dishes look like. So that's something I'm hoping to do next year. I'm hoping to do a big travel thing, like literally a year abroad, and hopefully learning a lot more about different cuisines, different regional stuff. This stuff's so good, I can't get over it. All right, now we're gonna make our sauce with the chilies that have been sitting over here. And then we'll fry everything back up. I do not have an OnlyFans, seems. But, all right, can someone answer me this, though, about OnlyFans? Does anyone actually use OnlyFans not for porn? Like, I've never been on it. Like, I legitimately don't know. And I feel like people always ask to have OnlyFans, but does anyone not use it for porn? Because, like, that's not what it, like, I don't think that's what it started out as, right? Like, that wasn't, like, the company's goals, right? Like, I assume not. I mean, but I have no idea. Okay. So as you can see, very red and dark from just leaching in those. I'm not going to add that. So normally for a chili puree, you're just going to mix water with this. You could use this. This can be a little bit bitter, so you may or may not want to. But if you wanted to make just a stock chili puree that you could add to different sauces, things like that, that's how you would do it. What we're going to do is add vinegar, though. Who we get? Fellow human, ever heard of food grade diatomaceous earth? For some reason that sounds familiar, but I don't know why. But I don't know anything about it, so I couldn't chime in on that. All right, back to. All right, vinegar, and then what else would I need? The garlic, cloves, and cumin seeds. All right. Okay, garlic, cumin seeds. Just gonna toss in a little bit, and then. Supposed to be Mexican oregano. I do not have any on hand, though I will say Mexican oregano, it definitely has a different flavor profile. I mean, it's not like wildly different, but it is definitely different. Not to say that you couldn't use, I just use some regular oregano there. But it definitely does. If you have and can find a Mexican oregano, I would try it out. Definitely different. All right, so one in there. And then this one. And how much vinegar? I think she just adds it. Okay. And then in her book, she basically says just add a touch of water if you need to thin it out a bit. So I'm just gonna blend this up, and we want it kind of pasty. Smells really good. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Now this is a job that I don't love for this mini blender. Is making purees, like very smooth purees. I'll upgrade soon. Oh yeah, wait. I wanted to see if there was people who had. It was supposed to be for internet artists. Yeah, that's what I assume, right? You just post your content. Other stuff. Entirety. Yeah. Yeah, I really don't know. Okay. You're watching with your abuelita right now? Yo, glad to hear it. Hopefully she approves if she's made chilo rio before. If she doesn't, it's not my recipe. All right, so I'm gonna grind this, but just drizzle in a little water as it's going. Fairly pasty. What I'm gonna do is probably strain it, just because this is not great at getting out like skins and stuff. So try to get mainly the puree part, hopefully. But yeah, this is a job that this thing just kind of falls flat. Yeah, and you can see just there's so much like these little mini skins that this thing just doesn't get fine enough to like really blitz through it. But that's why we have strainers. It smells really good though. I love the smell of this. And like, I mean, this is essentially just like hot sauce at this point. Like it's chilies and, you know, a good bit of vinegar. You know, bottle it up, mix some xanthan gum with it so it becomes like that dribble and sticks together rather than slowly goes into two parts. You've got a solid hot sauce. Oh yeah, and if I didn't mention, basically what this is going to be is just like put in tacos. You could put it in burritos, put in anything like that. Ah, shoot, I missed some. Or alternatively, what I'm probably going to do when I make the queso is maybe just sprinkle a little bit of this over the top of it, like in the center. Just like if you want a little bite of that with it, you can do that. But what I'm going to do is just turn these into some tacos. So just got some corn and flour with some just cilantro and onion. Just really simple. But like I said, this is something you can keep in your fridge and use for countless different dishes. All right, let's try to scoop up some of this I got on the counter before it stains my wood. Which it probably will do. Now this on its own didn't add much salt to, just because like I don't want to have this salty and the pork be salty and then over salt it. So because you can basically dial it in at the end, like just drizzle in a little salt as needed. So like that's the thing with layering salt. You definitely want to be layering salt in a dish like this. You just don't want to overdo it early on, and then you can't go back. You know, you can always add more at the end, but you can never take it back unless you dilute it or something, and then make more of it or whatever you're making. I'm gonna toss all this in the dishwasher because I feel like it's gonna stain this, that deep red color, you know. All right. Throw this in here. Henry, much appreciated. Happy sport day to you. Happy sport day to you. Really food day. I feel like more and more, unless the Eagles are in the Super Bowl itself, it's like, you know, I'll watch, but I'm more about the opportunity to make some food these days. You made the chicken karahi like 3 times? No way. I like it. I only released that video like 4 days ago. Yo, Gareth, what's going on? We're currently making chilo rio. We're almost done with it. What we do is basically just mix these two together, I believe, and then just throw them into our throw them back on the stove for like 15 minutes. And what we're doing with this is we are going to make it fairly dry. So we're going to cook most of the liquid out of this sauce. But I gotta say, I'm very excited. If you couldn't tell. So this is what we're looking like. I mean, again, you could definitely just eat this as is, but we're gonna let this cook down, and it should start crisping up a bit too with the fat that's still in this pan, and just give us more texture, kind of concentrate the flavor a little bit. I'm a big fan. All right. Let me wash a couple dishes, throw a couple things in the dishwasher. And then I think all that's really left is to let that cook down and then make the sauces for the chicken wings. I'm not going to do the chicken wings like finish them or anything. I'm going to do that closer to game time. But I mean, if you guys have seen the video, you just put them in the oven, let them cook, you know, until they're pretty crispy. And then I'll show you guys how I'm gonna, or I won't show you, but I'll tell you how I make the a really simple queso. Super simple. All right. And I forgot about this extra lard. I don't think I'm going to need it. I can add it later, though. I wasn't sure how much was going to render out of the pork pieces earlier on. But let's get to, I'm going to keep that out. I'll use that for sauces. Okay. Put this one away. Slide that over there in a moment. And all right, let's make our sauces. So I'm gonna do buffalo sauce, and then I'm gonna do a honey kind of like soy, or not soy, yeah, honey soy sauce, kind of glaze something. So I'm gonna get about a bunch of butter. Like Kraft Singles and Water simple queso, not quite that simple, but close, close. So we'll do the classic garlic buffalo. So this is the exact same one I did in that video. Kind of garlic black pepper, I like to call it, just because you put a ton of black pepper in it. And then generally just equal parts. I just do equal parts of weight hot sauce and butter. That's usually a pretty good. You definitely can use less butter if you want to. You know, if you're trying to lower calories, or you just don't love the buttery flavor, or if you have like a hot sauce like this, it's not like it's super hot or anything. So you need less to like kind of round out and take away the spiciness. But you need some if you want to get that kind of orange emulsification with this. All right, so 50 grams of butter, so I'm going to do 50 grams of hot sauce. Maybe a little more, actually. Maybe I'll do like 60 or 70. Yeah, I'm going to do like 70, I think. All right. Then we do some garlic powder. And a bunch of black pepper. Forearm starting to hurt. That's usually a good indication. I think that was like 85-ish. Someone could go back and count. But I like a lot of black pepper because you can like see it sit on the outside of the wings. It really comes through. And we're just gonna let that melt and bubble up. And basically you kind of want to let it melt until the bubbles go away. So butter is an emulsion of water and the milk fat. So it's about 15% water. So you just want to let that kind of bubble out on its own. And then kind of you can reincorporate it with this. You know, if it has too much water, it might be a little bit runny. So that's kind of why you want to let it bubble out. I mean, you don't have to. It's not going to be a massive deal, but the general thought behind it. And then what's my other one? 86 cranks? Maybe. You believe the dishwasher behind him to the right? Yeah, dishwasher's back here, right here. Haters are hating on the pepper they haven't tasted yet. Yep. Not using Frank's is a sin. I mean, Frank's is decent, but thoughts on dry wings? Yeah, I'm totally down with dry wings. Like, put a dry rub on them. I don't discriminate much. I think I do slightly prefer wet wings in general, but no, I'm not at all against dry wings. All right, and then for our other one, we're gonna do soy sauce, honey, and maybe I'll throw a touch of sriracha in there too. Yeah, I think soy sauce, honey, and a touch of sriracha will do. Actually, soy sauce, honey. Yeah, we'll do a touch of sriracha. So I'm going to do about 1 part each, and then to thicken this I'm actually going to add a little bit of cornstarch and water, just so that kind of helps gel it. So let's do like 25 grams of honey, 25 grams of this soy sauce, and about 20 grams of this. And then I'm gonna get some crushed garlic as well. Actually, I'll probably just microplane it. Two cloves of fresh garlic. It's about good on that. I'll let that cool for a second. Try it. This like sometimes works if you microplane it with the skin. Sometimes you can get little fragments of the skin in there though. So I'm not sold on the method. Works for the most part though. I can see a little piece of skin in there though. Oh, I'm gonna throw a little ginger in there too. Why not? I think I have some. Alrighty. Do I have some? I should. Should have a little bit left from the karahi the other day. Oh, let me catch up on these. Shoot. Okay. What'd I miss here? Man, I haven't checked these in a bit. Sorry, guys. Blueberry, what are some of your fave drinks to go with meals? Ooh. There is one drink for me that I have very often. Very special to me. And I will pull one out right now. Let me make sure I get this other one too. Oh, that was from earlier. That was before the sport day one. Sorry about that. I sorry got that. Is there such thing as a too chewy bagel? I think you can. Guinness, yeah. I think you can go too far on one side for sure. But my friends, I shouldn't do this right now because I want to see if I can get them to sponsor me. But maybe this, out of good faith, they will sponsor me retroactively, or sponsor a future video, which would be cool. But I have to say, like, if you like mineral water or like bubbly water, like the the 0 calorie whatever LaCroix, you like your Pellegrino, you like what are the other brands? Bubbly, you like Aha. The king of bubbles is Topo Chico, and I've tried just about every brand out there. It's not for the flavor, it's for the bubbles. It's all about the bubbles. They're really small and compact. If anyone's had Topo Chico, like this literally sounds like an ad. And so Topo Chico, if you're watching, or I'm going to send this to you and show that I do really love your product. Topo Chico is 1000% the best, like, what do you call these, mineral waters? Like 1000%. It's the best bubbles. They're really tiny and they're very concentrated bubbles. That's all I need to say. Like I will drink the plain version of this. Like I actually kind of prefer the plain version. I don't like the plain version of any other mineral water out there. That's how much I like this stuff. So that's literally my drink of choice, like normal drink of choice. I'll have a beer occasionally. I don't really drink wine. Not really into the wine thing. And outside of that, it's just water, and then I'll do milk sometimes, depending on the situation. But my number one is 1000% Topo Chico. So if some of you go out and buy a Topo Chico, let them know that I sent you. Ben Feeney, you recently discovered the channel. Already a favorite. The quality in food is great. Much appreciated. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep growing this thing, keep expanding, getting more people cooking, getting more people watching. Because yeah, like that's the best part about this job for me is just hearing people that they're starting to cook more and cooking different things for whatever reason that you like to home cook. All right. Boom. Blueberry, I'm sorry you had to chat twice. I'm sorry I missed the earlier one. No. Do you guys have Old Bay hot sauce there? If not, you need to order some. I don't think. Let me send you some Old Bay life-changing wing flavor. Seems, yeah. I don't think I've ever tried that, but I'll have to look it up and maybe I'll just order some. But yeah, I don't think I've tried Old Bay. So I assume it's like the seasoning, right? Is it like a Tabasco but with Old Bay seasoning in it? I mean, it sounds good. I'm totally down on board with that. So there's buffalo sauce, garlic, and pepper. We chillin'. Really want a close-up on the sauces? Oh, I can do that for you. Let me get out a spoon though. But yeah, this so you can see all that garlic in there, hopefully. It probably seemed like an aggressive amount. But I think if you're gonna call something with black pepper in the name, you gotta have a ton in it. A ton. Oh, dang it, I put the wrong lid on. Oh well, it's fine. You give it a try. See, oh, is Topo Chico made by the Coca-Cola company? I didn't think it was. Maybe it is. I don't know. Do you wear a black shirt while cooking so it doesn't stain? No, the reason why I wear a black shirt is because, so for videos, so you're not like worried about what I'm wearing, right? And normally it provides good contrast. Like if I'm doing something back here on a black background, like there's not many foods that are pure black versus like, imagine if I had like a red shirt on right now, like with the honey around me, like there wouldn't be as much like difference. So like if it's an up close shot, like you'd really see this and versus like the black background. So that's why I wear black. And then because of that, I've just in general started to expand my wardrobe. So now I just kind of have like most of my clothes are black in general. Just because I like pretty plain clothes. I'm not big into like big colors and stuff. Most of my stuff's pretty plain nowadays. So I'm going to shake this up, and then I'm also going to cook it on the pan. Oh, and you guys, you have to take a look at this in just a second. Actually going to turn the heat off. Who's leading, by the way?
Just chipped in for Eagle.
No way. Dang, that's wild.
Speed is left 70 putt short, and then you went a little longer, so it's pretty much out of it. It's going to be whether or not shop play can close out. Get back to catch that or not.
So same deal with this one. Just going to let it cook down a bit. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of like water and cornstarch just so it thickens up a bit. With enough time, this would thicken up from the honey and stuff, but the cornstarch and water should just kind of aid in that help. Where's this guy? I suppose. And then the reason why you add cornstarch with water in a slurry is so you can dissolve it firsthand. Because sometimes if I were to add cornstarch straight to that sauce, it would clump up and not really ever fully dissolve. Versus right now, like this is completely dissolved. So I'm just going to toss that in. And then this will also kind of lighten the color a bit. From that super dark brown. So like if you didn't want to add it for that reason, you could definitely do that. But as you can see, like this is, it thickens up really quickly, to be honest. Could honestly probably put more soy sauce in this now. I think I put too much cornstarch. Yeah. So I'm just gonna toss this back in and then, oh, is it already 2:15? Jeez. I mean, it's not a big deal. But. Yo. Yeah, I didn't even realize like how long this was going, but yeah, I'm almost done, so it's fine.
We get to see you in action.
Yeah, you see the behind the scenes. It is a little Stevie in here, yeah.
I can't see shit.
You get the oven. You got the heat rolling, Ryan.
Yeah, that's right, man.
How good does it smell though?
It smells awesome.
You're streaming. Right?
Yeah, I'm streaming right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is less than good. Sorry, man.
All right, did I miss anything else? Are there any mods on? Ralph, you have to go. That's all right. I'll be finishing up in just a second here anyway. So sauces are made. Last thing we got to do to give you the update on is the chilo. So let me get that. It's actually unreal, like how much this is. Cooked up and changed down. All right, like just look at this. Like little crispy bits of the fried pork mixed with the sauce. You know, it honestly kind of reminds me. That was really hot. It kind of reminds me of like a little bit of like almost like a buffalo sauce, that sauce we added in there once it's cooked down. But this is gonna just be made into tacos. Like I said, you can make it into anything though. Burritos, put it with rice, you've got whatever you want. Then the last update, wings are basically just gonna be cooked. We're just gonna do them in the oven. So they'll take like 45, 50 minutes or so. And then for the easiest queso dip that I know how to make, so I should say easiest that tastes pretty good, is evaporated milk, cheddar cheese, sodium citrate. Just mixing it together, these three components, and then I'm also gonna mix in a hatch chili. Like you literally put these together in probably like 5 to 10 minutes. The most simple queso that I know how to make that tastes good. It's just these three. And you don't need to add salt because sodium citrate is kind of salt in and of itself, just not NaCl. But this is gonna help emulsify it. This is gonna help emulsify it. And if you pick two cheeses that melt pretty well, or you could honestly, because you have these two, you could do aged cheeses too. Like it's pretty nuts. But I think with that, we've covered everything that I can think about. So we did, to recap, for those who may just be, you may not have seen the whole thing, we did the chilo. So this was slow cooked pork chunks, cooked down. And then we cooked that down with water and salt, cooked it down, then bashed it up. So at that point, we basically have carnitas, except carnitas you just crisp up in the pan. The only difference between chilo, like the big difference, is mixing it with a sauce, a chili puree with vinegar, and then just cooking it down like that. Then we have our cheese dip. We've got the salad, which I can't wait to get to this salad when the time arises. So this is the Brussels sprouts. Like this stuff is just, that's big time. That and then the wings. So that's the menu. It's about like an hour till game time, so we'll finish the wings in that time. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the stream. This will be up again. It'll be up on the channel, so if you guys want to refer to it for whatever reason or just watch it, feel free to do so. A lot of good nuggets in there. Hopefully we covered some good stuff. Is there any closing questions that anyone has? Any burning questions? We'll do 2 minutes of questions. You love the channel, literally eat the exact same food I do. It's great to see a difference. Hey, appreciate that. You have Brussels sprouts in the fridge right now? You could make something like this. Or with the framework. Where'd you get your sodium citrate from? Just from Amazon's. No seams. Faye, are you going to? All right, I'll try to blast through these. Fave non-food YouTuber. Recently I've been watching the No Laying Up. So if you're into golf, you'll like No Laying Up. That's what I say. That's what I've been watching recently. Are you gonna make your own pop seltzer? Would love to. One say, how much do you deadlift? I haven't deadlifted in a while. I've been shut down. I don't remember. Do you need sodium citrate for good queso? No, but it helps for sure. Worst kitchen accident? Sliced my knife. Josh, how do you get swole? It took a lot of time. I used to weigh 80 pounds more than this, so it took a lot of time. Will you make Persian Feud one day? Yes, for sure. Tampa Bay or Kansas City? I'm rooting for Kansas City. You know, I like Mahomes. Feel like he's a good guy, so we'll go with that. Plus, Tom Brady's won enough already. I mean, I know he's great, but he's won enough. Do you have a microwave? I do. I don't use it often. It's outside of the kitchen. You got an 8-pound Boston butt for $7. That's nuts. You should make chilo Rio. And again, you can only use part of it. But yeah. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the stream. Like I said, it will be up. You know, if you're not following for some reason, you know, subscribe. New video will probably be up Wednesday or Thursday again, and then Sunday after that. I'll try to mix in some streams here and there. They're fun for me to do, just to kind of relax. I also don't have to do as much work up front because I don't have to edit this. Like, I'm just gonna put it up. So if you guys like these, definitely stick around. That's gonna be it. I will catch you all later. Hopefully you guys enjoy the game if you're watching, or just enjoy the rest of your weekend. That's gonna wrap it up for me. I will catch you in the next one. Peace, everybody.